Namaste, Jai Bharat. The Sydney terror attack is over. The terrorists here in Kashmir, they killed the Hindus after confirming that they are not Muslims. And in Sydney, they tried their best to kill all the Jews who were in their religious festival of a week-long Hanukkah, which is akin to the Hindu Deepavali among us in Bharat. 16 people, as I know last, were killed and many more are seriously, rather fatally injured and in hospital. This thing is on, this thing is over for the time being, and there are so many stories about it. Another Muslim who's trying to snatch the weapon from the terrorist's hand, and that Muslim, whether he is from Pakistan or not, is never told. Not likely. This is my speculation. Not likely. Maybe from some other country. But then there occurred reaction from the people. Maybe the Gen Z, with the so-called crafty world of today, were celebrating. Maybe most likely from the Gen Z, with the support of opposition parties, likely. They were out in the street, that as the report comes, and there were movements against the soft policy of their existing Prime Minister towards Muslim migrants, and then they are finding so many reasons to this. This is the Prime Minister's son has investments in Arab nations, business with the Arab people, and so many stories come out, whether true or false, we don't know. But when something happens, there will be a lot of narratives. Whether to what extent they're real, we have no way to find out by sitting at one corner of the world. So there are reactions are out there in the street. That will almost go close to something like anarchy, though not really anarchy. They're pulling Muslim immigrants out of the shops and beating them up and asking them to close down and get the hell out of my nation. That's a natural, normal sentiment. US can't blame those people who want Muslim out, who run Muslims out campaign, because in all likelihood they have taken more than what people can take. In one single incident, don't compare people of Bharat with this. We can't react like that because we have many our own Muslims living in our Bharat who are a part of our culture. They have the distinct faith, but the culture is also there, as good as any Hindu living in Bharat. So we won't do that. But you can afford it. All are outsiders for you. So maybe that's the only way you find that's the only way to react, and they are reacting. This is spreading, and if it spreads beyond a point, that would even amount to some kind of regime change as well in Australia. And as a matter of fact, if we read the back pages, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had warned Australian Prime Minister of the soft policy towards Muslim immigrants when there were huge rallies and demonstrations in support of both Hamas and Palestine. The Australian Muslims have no business to support either Palestine or Hamas. Hamas, one of the most brutal terror organizations in the world. In spite of that, supporting is only because they find one thing in common, that's the religion. And that was not contained, rather supported, maybe indirectly. So that time, Prime Minister Benjamin had written to Australian Prime Minister, as I understand, but he had overlooked it. not attended to his advices. Now the Jews getting killed. The same situation we face, the Hindus face. The Jews are a drawback, they are few in number. We are quite a large people in number. That doesn't mean that we can afford to lose our people. But the situation is same. Situation is same. The story which Aristotle told is something else. I don't know how correct it is, but this remains in texted document. Aristotle told one of his disciples that the Jews are originally Hindus. Welcome. Rather, you never went apart from us. That's a different story. But this would become something of a serious moment in Australia if the Gen Z youngsters take to the streets and push the Muslims out, and if it really intensifies, if the people of Australia are adamant and out there on the street to get Australia cleansed by exporting Muslims, then that would set a trend in other European nations, where with whatever philanthropical rhetorics and soft, lofty humanitarian rhetorics people are welcomed, and those people are suffering. They had their rapes increased, and their prisons are full with all these immigrants. Those society also could react, and those society also would want to get the society cleansed of these people. And then what will happen to the Islamic society? What will happen to the people? I would ask the whole Islamic world to look at Tajikistan, follow their model. They retain their religion. Nobody is asking you to change your religion, but integrate to whichever society you go, number one. Number two, in whichever society you originally belong, you have had a culture which you have lost or left behind consciously. Not conscientiously, but consciously left behind. That you recapture. Once you are able to recreate your lost culture, then you will not have any contradiction to coexist with anybody else. You will continue to be belonging to your religion. I am not asking you to do Ghar Wapasi, but I will ask my people in my nation to do possible Ghar Wapasi, though it's not necessary. They can easily come, but you may not be able to so easily do it because you have become majority. Nonetheless, if you go back to your Sanskriti, you go back to your culture, then that's the only solution. Tajikistan is doing it, and they are in the path of peace. They are real peaceful. They have no terrorist problem. They have no women become subaltern problem. Learn from them. Now the world should learn from them. Each one. Not to adopt them, but adopt their model to go back to your own culture. This is the only thing I can tell. And this is what ought to happen in future, if not now, if not tomorrow. Somewhere in distant future, people have to do it. Otherwise, one will cease to exist. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Siya Ram.